Hi everyone! Every Tuesday, as you know, we have Beta Show on our Badass Empire page, and I'm happy to see you again. My name is Victoria Loskutova, and this is Beta Show. Beta Show is a raw and real talk show with no holds barred. And today, again, I have a badass digital entrepreneur for you to chat with, and it's an amazing person. I can't wait to invite him to our stream, but first, I want to tell you that Future of Wellness, the Wellbeing Conference, is going to happen on the 13th and 14th of November, and you don't want to miss it. So you should go to futureofwellness.online, check the agenda, and you will be really, really impressed. And we should meet there because I'm going to be speaking there too, and many, many, many other famous and amazing people will going to speak there too. But for now, I want to invite Akash Mehta to my stream. It's a co-founder of Fable and Main, a very interesting product line that he will tell you about. And it's the person he was in Forbes 30 under 30, and he worked in Estée Lauder and Christian Dior companies. So I'm inviting Akash Mehta to my stream.
Hi, Victoria.
I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest.
No, thank you for such an awesome intro, and I'm so excited to be on your show.
Yes, I'm really, really excited too. So, first question I want to ask you about is, of course, about your company, Fable and Main. Can you please tell us what is all about? I know these are an amazing hair products, but of course you can tell us much more.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fable and Main, it's a modern hair wellness company, all about Indian wisdom, sharing ancient Indian beauty secrets, all powered by Ayurveda, which is a 4,000 to 5,000-year-old science. So we're really bringing the plant roots, the Indian ingredients to the Western world through our new brand. And we've launched in Sephora and just now in Boots and Douglas. So it's a new brand. We actually launched during the whole COVID-19. So definitely was an interesting experience, but in a way, a great time as well to bring all these rituals into people's homes today.
Oh, wow, that sounds so amazing. So Ayurvedic products, are they all vegan, or where do you get all those secrets?
Yeah, so they're all vegan, cruelty-free, silicon-free, all the kind of very much clean products. And they're pretty much just coming from passed down by generations, and they're kind of home remedies that we've basically tried to bottle into a product that we were used to growing up. And most Indian households, when you ask an Indian person of their childhood, they'll tell you that their grandma used to, bring these ingredients from the kitchen, make these ointments and herbal oils, and used to massage our hair with them. So that's why, we've been used to these ingredients from a long, long time. But I think in the Western world, people don't oil their hair often. In India, people actually oil their hair sometimes daily. So we really wanted to bring these kind of potent plant roots to the world and kind of show the benefits that they have.
That sounds great. I already want to try them.
Definitely. I have to send you some.
Yeah, please. Okay. Girl mode switch off. So looking at your career, you were growing really fast, and you were one of the youngest global managers at Christian Dior. You were working at Estée Lauder companies, or it's vice versa.
First was Estée Lauder, and then Dior.
Estée Lauder, then Dior. Sorry. So was that experience something like in the Devil Wears Prada, or how did you appear on that high-level quality products and that the whole world knows?
Definitely. Well, so there is definitely some Devil Wears Prada moments. I think the closest now you can say is the Emily in Paris TV show that everyone's watching on Netflix. Definitely, I can tell you, Dior, there were some moments like that, 100%, especially as a foreigner. But no, overall, it was, it kind of stemmed from, growing up. I always wanted to, I think we've been taught like, to get experience in big companies is really valuable, and it is. But also I always knew I wanted to be my own entrepreneur. I just didn't have the idea yet. So after university, I studied engineering, so very different. But after engineering, I knew beauty was for me, because my father has been in the beauty industry for 40 years, and I've always been growing up around that. So I knew I wanted to work in one of the big companies initially, learn and grow, and basically absorb as much information as I can from these big companies until there's that point where I have the idea, which in this case was Fable in Maine with my sister, and then jump ship and then basically be my own entrepreneur. But definitely, I spent about 5 years in corporate, and such an incredible experience for sure.
Awesome. And when did it happen? When did you become 30, Forbes 30 under 30? What happened?
So yeah, Forbes 30 under 30 was kind of in my third year at Dior, or my second to third year at Dior. I basically, I think I did a lot of entrepreneurial things during my time there in terms of like building new divisions within Dior, and kind of starting new things from affiliate programs to working with influencers in a unique way. So I think from all of those little things, I used to work with a lot of different agencies, and I think I've got nominated by a few of them. And then Forbes reached out, said I'd been shortlisted. And then I actually, funnily enough, didn't know I had it. When the list got released, I said, oh, okay, like, that's cool. But I never got told I was on the list, so I never thought I got on it. But I said, let me just quickly check who was on it. I went on the list that year and I was like, hang on, that's my face, that's my name. And I was like, well, no one told me. And then they email you a bit later, but I think they wanted to keep it really secretive at first, Forbes. So I found out when everyone else found out. And that was pretty cool. Yeah, a very proud moment in my career. And I think it also was really nice to happen during my last year at Dior. So then I can kind of said, I got recognized for my time there, and now I can move on and do something on my own. So yeah.
What was that moment when you thought, oh, damn, now is the moment. Now I'm successful. Now I'm probably even famous. Now it's was it something like sparkling thing, or oh my God?
If you ask me today, I still feel like I've yet to ever achieve, a long way to go to achieve that. I feel still, the only moment I would say, I've never felt, by all these vanity goals like Forbes and stuff, they're great and obviously they mean a lot, and they're very exciting to have, but they never really fulfill, a place in my heart, because I've never really been chasing for kind of titles and stuff. For me, it's all about knowing that you've accomplished something so different. So I think the biggest moment where I felt like maybe really proud of myself, or really like, I've done something so outstanding, was in certain meetings at Dior when, I launched something, and then I was the youngest in a big board of, a lot of older people, and who have much more experience than I. And then they can all look at me and say, wow, you've done already at your age, you've done a lot, or you've changed Dior in a way. That was definitely something that I think would be the biggest, proudest moment. So yeah, but I guess if you would say one moment where I felt really cool would be probably Forbes 30 under 30. That moment was pretty cool that day.
Yeah, I believe so. So what do you think helped you to reach that success? Because you were studying engineering. Where did you get all the knowledge about the digital marketing and community? And maybe you got some courses, or you were self-taught?
Yeah, so I mean, I've never marketing or digital in my life. I've given a course this summer, which is very funny because I've never learned it, kind of from an education point of view. But I think the best education is sometimes experiencing it. And how I basically came around the whole, or fell into the whole social media world, was during my time when I was doing engineering. I always knew I had a creative hat, and then also a mathematical hat. So engineering was a mathematical hat. And then the creative outlet for me was singing. So during my time at university, I was a singer. Like, I was working with producers, and I was going in the street singing, busking. So I was really much doing that in every free moment I had. I used to go to lectures, and after go to the studio. And then my producer at the time told me, you need to start growing your Instagram following, because now we live in a world where you can get, big gigs or big labels by just your social media following. And this was like, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. So I started doing that. I started working hard on my social media, posting a lot. And before I knew it, I was building my following. I had some songs that got over 1 million views. And I realized, I was doing ads on my own account. I was doing posting, all that stuff. And when I went to my first interview at Estee Lauder, I was initially an intern, unpaid in e-commerce, and they were hiring a social media manager role, and obviously a lot more experience at that time because I was only 21. But I actually said to them, you know what, like I've had a lot of experience because on my own account, which I had at that time 200,000 followers, I said I know how to build. Okay, whether the product is Akash or the product is the hair care brand or the skincare brand, the thing is still the same. I know how to market something through social media, and at that time it was a very new thing. So I managed to transfer the skills into the beauty industry, which I always had a passion about because of as I said before, my father. He was the one who kind of growing up, I always heard about beauty products. So yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting story. I didn't know you were singing. Are you still singing and producing music?
Just in the shower mainly, but I want to go back in the studio, even just from a hobby perspective, because singing is for me one of the best feelings. You just get transported away, and especially writing music as well.
How about failures? What failures did you remember on the way to your current success?
Oh, many. Well, in terms of remembering, I've had so many failures to count. So, it's hard to always remember all of them. For me, I look at failures as like a huge success as well. Like in the moment, of course, you're not going to be excited by a failure, but the day after I get excited by them because then it's the moment to learn and grow. So I know that a failure is an opportunity for me to like get stronger and better. And I only had this realization because of one failure specifically in my life, which a lot of people would say is not really a big deal, but to put some context, I was that annoying kid in school who would always want to get 100%, studied so hard. If I got 95%, I would be upset. So I was a real geek in school, a nerd in school, in my high school. And then when I went to university, I knew engineering wasn't for me. So I finished my first year. In the second year, I ended up failing the year. All my friends went further and I had to retake the year. But basically, still then it wasn't sure if I would necessarily pass because I was very much in my head. So I remember being really stuck and confused, thinking, wow, like, I've lost 2-3 years of my life. I have to go back. How did this happen? In school, I was the smartest and now I'm failing. But, it was the biggest lesson in my life because once I got out of that head and I realized it's not all about, being the best or whatever, it's about doing what you enjoy in life. And if you do what you enjoy, you'll have success. And that's the real gift. So I think for me, like if I look back now, I would have failed 10 times over because if I didn't fail, I wouldn't be where I am today. I would have gone down a different route of engineering or banking or finance. That isn't who I am. So I'm glad, I had that experience at a younger age for sure.
Okay, before next question, guys, I want to ask you, please ask questions. So whatever you want to ask Akash, I will show the question on the screen. Everybody will be able to read it. And I think it will be a much more interesting conversation if you will be engaged. My next question is connected to the pandemic. So you told me that you launched your products on different markets during the pandemic. Did you have to take some special measures to make it happen?
Yeah, definitely we had to phase it out a lot more. It wasn't as quick as we would have liked. So, we're still on that journey. We wouldn't, for example, I really wanted to be selling in India by now. But of course, because of the current situation and there's a lot more restrictions with importing goods in certain countries and it's just a lot harder than it was. And also the fact that today, selling in store is very difficult. So it's all about online, but to set up the infrastructure in all these countries has definitely made things a lot delayed because shipping is delayed and all this stuff. So I think from a holistic point of view, it's actually been very good in a way to really take some time and think and also reassess the business plan, because we initially planned the business before coronavirus. The fortunate thing is we launched just during, meaning that all the decisions could have been changed a little bit because we hadn't launched by then. So yeah, it's definitely made us think now. It's not so much about being in every country, but maybe perhaps shipping to every country and getting the customer the opportunity to buy, but doesn't mean we have to have presence in every single country, because that can be quite expensive and also very hard to manage when I can't even travel. For example, we launched at Sephora. We're in pretty much every store, and my face with me and my sister is on the shelf, and I haven't even seen it. I can't even go to America. So it's sad for me to one of the proudest moments of my life to be in a big retailer I can't even visit. So definitely it's been an interesting navigation right now.
Do you sell in Europe now?
Yeah, so we sell we sell it all over Europe online from fableandmain.com. So anywhere in Europe we can ship to. But in terms of actual retailer presence, we just sell in Boots in UK and in Douglas, which is in Germany, Netherlands, etc.
Nice. I have some personal question, but it is inside of my other 7 questions, 7 lucky questions, as I name them. So it's the second part of the interview. We have 7 questions, and you need to choose them in a different order.
Yep.
And so it's a little bit not really structured conversation, but just like a little bit more tricky and interesting. So let's go. Give me a number from 1 to 7.
3.
3. Wow. What are the best moments of your childhood?
Oh,
did you grow up in India?
So I grew up in London, but I did travel to India a lot, at least once, twice a year. I think the best memories would be with my grandparents. Unfortunately, all my grandparents have passed away, but definitely all my fondest memories have been spending time with them, whether it was playing cards or hair oiling or just traveling and them spoiling us as children. Definitely, yeah, my grandparents for sure.
How did they spoil you?
A lot of chocolates, lot of chocolates, and always getting gifts whenever they could. And as a child, you love that. You can't say no to gifts and chocolate.
Nice. Yeah, chocolate is all about my childhood. My parents were like hiding the chocolate from us because we liked it so much. Next one.
Let's go for 6.
I kind of asked that already. What helped you reaching your goals? Okay, let's talk about what is your goal with Fable and Main. What is the next one?
Great question. I think my goal is kind of counterproductive on the last thing I said, but I want to get it to as many people around in the world. Doesn't necessarily mean to have stores, etc., but I want to be able to ship our products to from Japan to Australia to India. So that's my next big goal, as well as sort of launch new products that are just as good as the ones we've launched this year, and do the brand justice to continue and be there forever and beyond us.
Oh, wow. That's a big one. Yeah. Pick next one from 1, 2, 4, 5, or 7.
Let's do 2.
Okay, what was your hardest decision during the past 2 years?
Definitely leaving Dior. I was very comfortable there. I had a lot of my CEO and my general manager at the time were my mentors and my best friends, and it was really hard for me to leave a company that I invested a lot, and they invested a lot in me. So that was definitely the hardest. And leaving Paris, because when you spend a lot of years in a country, you start to call it home. So yeah, definitely. But in hindsight, I'm very glad I did, because I think I would have been very lonely on my own there in Paris. Yeah.
Did you have to learn to study French?
Yes. Well,
I'm working in Dior.
Exactly. No, they spoke only French pretty much in the office. So I speak fluent French. I learned it in school growing up. So I had some knowledge, but I had to quickly learn when I was there. Yeah.
Nice. Let's move on. 1, 4, 5, or 7?
Let's do 7.
Okay, if you could create a digital copy of yourself, what skills would you leave like you have them now, and what skills would you add?
Okay, which skills would I add? I would definitely add, but digital copy. So, well,
Yeah.
obviously, I would like to add a lot more like physical stuff like strength and super speed and all that fun stuff. But in terms of digital, I would definitely want to basically add a bit more. I would say it's a hard one. Be able to be a bit more like to learn a lot more languages. I want to like basically add more languages that I know because I really think communication is so important. And I only know very few, but like I want to learn like, Mandarin and all those different languages. So the ability to learn languages quicker would be a big one. And then also, I think in a more of a marketing thing, I want to understand a bit more, the younger kind of generation now, like the whole TikTok and stuff. I feel like it goes so quickly, even beyond me. And I used to think I was like a digital expert. So now, yeah, I want to know a bit more about the new trends and how the young, like I'm talking young as in like, the 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, how they're the future. So how are they thinking and how will they think? Yeah.
I don't know. The kids, the younger the kids are, I think they will be just. I think even the neurons in their brain and their brain will just change. I think it will be an evolution, like a massive one.
I mean, already a lot of them are just like so far beyond what I was at that age. So it's crazy. I'm sure at 20 years old, you'll see all these amazing CEOs with billion-dollar companies in 10 years' time because the world has just changed so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's move on. 1, 4, 5.
Let's do 1. Yeah.
What are you improving at right now?
I
Like
am.
maybe on a daily basis or?
Yeah, definitely to have a bit more of a personal, like the balance between my personal life and work life. I end up working way too much. I prefer working than maybe sometimes going out now, which is not very much like me. So I want to have a bit more time to myself, watch a bit more TV and films, and which I haven't done. So I started watching Game of Thrones. Believe it or not, I've never seen it before. So. Okay, so I just started it, and I would definitely recommend watching it because I'm already obsessed. But yeah, just little things like this. Like I after dinner, normally my first thing to do is go back onto my laptop and work until 2 a.m. every day. So instead, now I'm saying, no, you've done work. Now watch some TV, or go out and meet some friends.
Yeah, that's the problem of all the entrepreneurs, because there is never end to work. Like the work
never
ends.
Yeah.
So then I mean it's bad for health. So
100%. And I think I have my core friends that like I always will see regularly, so that helps a lot. But I think I miss maybe meeting more people, and I was when I was a few years ago. Very much. It doesn't help right now because of COVID. Probably it's just mainly because of COVID that I literally can't meet people right now. So what I can do is stay at home. But yeah, maybe switching that to find more hobbies and not put all my energy in just work, because if you have a bad work day, then it becomes really bad on your mental health. So
yeah, true. That's my case as well, because I'm a really social person, and you just can't do that right now.
Yeah,
like
totally.
Yeah, we have a question from my friend and co-founder Stuart Rogers.
Awesome.
How difficult was it to work remotely from your team, customers, and business partners? What was that transition like?
Great question. So I personally, just before kind of COVID, I have 2 businesses. I have my Fable and Main and have my digital agency. So I actually manage directly around 11 people. So that's been quite difficult to like basically no longer have an office and all work remotely, but still give enough time to train them, because a lot of them are new hires and maybe young hires. But actually, it's been that side of the business, working with my team, has been so much more productive because I've always been, anyway, all about agile working since I've been kind of managing people and giving them kind of the responsibility to create their own kind of work plans with the guidance when needed. So I've actually found our productivity as a company has increased with just regular catch-up calls in the morning. We have WhatsApp groups, and we have many different WhatsApp groups between different types of divisions within the companies, etc. So WhatsApp is the thing that we're using the most, and also other platforms like Slack and Monday. But yeah, it's actually been a lot more productive because they're working a lot earlier. They're not really, spending the time commuting to the office. And also, they end up also working now. We're all at home, so we're just working a lot more. I think in terms of our customers, it has been, or even our retailers, it's been a bit difficult because we can't necessarily go visit them, and that's a big part of the industry is that whole nurture approach of coffees, lunches, dinners, and getting to meet them and getting to know them. So we're shifting on a whole kind of Zoom, we call them like Zoom coffees, etc. I had one very, very interesting meeting with someone. It was so great. The person actually sent me a voucher of £5 or $5 for a coffee and said, okay, buy your coffee and tell me when you're ready and we'll have a coffee together. And I thought it was so nice, like just to get a little voucher for a coffee. It was like a real coffee meeting, but virtually from our homes. That was really great.
Yeah, that's nice. So what do you think about the digital nomad movement across the globe? Now, even all the big companies from Silicon Valley allow their employees to work remotely. Do you think it's going to be like a global movement for many, like most of the companies? And how do you plan to continue working within your company?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to still say because we're back into the wave two basically right now, and who knows if wave three will be less or more. I think for sure the smarter businesses are gearing up to be super agile and working from home as much as possible. I remember, hearing before when Google and the big tech companies have decided earlier on, about 6 months ago, 5 months ago, that they're going to not open the office until next year or March or June next year. At that time, everyone was like, they're crazy. Like, what? It's so far away. Why are they closing it? Why are they making sure it's a year? Surely they should wait. But actually, they're the smartest because now they've even closed their offices. Their rents have been reduced because they managed to do that really early on. Whereas now you look at most companies, and now we're in the wave two, they're now thinking about maybe getting rid of some of their offices because businesses can't afford rent for a building that's empty. Having said that, I think the smartest businesses would be shifting, obviously, to be prepared to be online at home. But how can you, make sure it's safe and secure from, cybersecurity attacks, etc. So giving them the structure that they need, the correct tools, the correct laptops, but also investing some of that money that would be saved on offices to make their home experience a little bit better. So reaching out to their team and saying, can I offer you a monitor? Can I offer you a better chair? All this stuff I think will be the smartest way for businesses to go forward. I still need to do that personally because as a smaller business, I don't necessarily have the budget to buy all my team monitors. But at the same time, I am basically 100% listening to my team first. And if they want to come in, they come in. If they don't, then I'll let them stay at home. It's whatever they feel comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. You're working from home or
I'm working from home. But I have my office home in London, which is nice. So I sometimes go to my family home where all my dogs and my family is, but then I come here on the weekdays to be super productive on my own.
Nice. So 2 questions left, 4 or 5?
Let's do 4.
Okay, that's the question that I've been dreaming to ask. Okay, the reason my hair is up because I have a curly hair, and sometimes it's just out of order. So maybe you can share the secret how to take care of the curly hair.
Yes. So definitely. So with any hair, but especially curly hair, I mean, I'm not a hair expert. This is just things that I've learned by building the
Oh, come
brand.
on, you are.
I'm becoming a little bit, but yeah, I'm not trained. But definitely, you really want to be making sure you take care of the curls in different ways. So for sure, hair masks are your best friends when it comes to curls. Sometimes need a bit more deep conditioning. So sometimes switching a conditioner for a hair mask is a really good idea, and that can be done once or once every week is often. I would definitely recommend hair oiling. So I'll be sending you our hair oil and do that one
Oh,
as well. Because that 100%, you'll see a lot more hair growth and thicker volume in your curls. But that comes from the root. So you have these styling products, which you can normally find, like thickening sprays and stuff, which are great. But oiling is the best to actually have long-term benefits to your hair and your curls. So we found our hair oil is what people love to use for kind of making their curls feel really strong and healthy. But also, I would really listen to the amount of times you're washing your hair. We shouldn't wash our hair daily. So otherwise, you're stripping your natural oils too. So for you, I would say wash your hair twice a week, cleanse with a lopu, which is basically like even just like a apple cider vinegar rinse or a very, very light shampoo. And then on your days where you need extra conditioning and your hair's missing something, I would then use the hair mask as well, a hair mask. But oil once a week for sure, you'll find huge results.
thank you. Thank you. Okay, another question from Ivan.
Yep.
Going back to the team management topic, how do you control productivity of your team if there is such a need at all?
Great question, Ivan. So I do sort of have in my own kind of I have my little notebook and stuff, and I always basically I wouldn't call it micromanaging because I would never relay it to the team, but I kind of have their tasks for the week and little friendly just check-ins right now, not to demotivate or to pressurize, but just to basically say, how's it going with this in a very friendly way. Often also just being really transparent and saying, right now it's very difficult for me to manage everyone directly because I can't see them. So can you just also update me when you've done things so I'm aware of what you're doing? Because half the time, they might be working very hard and I'm not in the loop of every email. So it's just important to kind of know what they're doing. So I don't ask for daily, updates and daily sort of like what they've done because I find that very demotivating and very rigid. But I basically just ask them to regularly update me on major topics. And then I will also keep a tab of what they're doing. And then it's majority, for me, I'm fortunate because I only have a small team. I can sort of sense the productivity by seeing the rate of replies of emails and, whenever I call them, if they quickly, pick up the phone. So I'm fortunate enough that I don't need to necessarily worry too much about that. But I would say, yeah, having a sort of like internal tracker of your team, but you never show your team, is a really valuable way for you to make sure that, you're seeing all their worth and also acknowledging for them because, at this time it's also hard. And I think they need to feel like they're being recognized for their productivity at home as well.
Thank you. Thank you guys for your questions. Please send more questions because we are moving to the end. Okay. Bobby asks, that's so interesting. Any advice for dandruff?
Dandruff. So definitely with dandruff, again, I think it sounds really weird. I'm not trying to promote my hair oil a lot, but oiling is really good for kind of anti-dandruff because it's just really making sure, if you're really thinking about it, an oil is what's going to affect the sebum in the inside. So anything that comes out now is going to be a lot more healthier. So you're really fixing the root. Think of it like watering the plant and you're fixing the soil on the scalp and not what's on top. And I think a lot of people just focus on what's on top because it's the easiest thing to do and see. So that's why I think a lot of Indians don't have dandruff because they do a lot of oiling. I would also recommend cleansing, as trying different rinses is really good for dandruff. I personally, the one I was saying before, like half a cup of water and half a cup of apple cider vinegar is really good. It's just a natural rinse. You just put that on your hair when you're in the shower. And then you can wash it with a small conditioner or something just to get rid of the smell if you feel there's some smell. Is so good. So definitely try apple cider vinegar rinse. It's natural, it's free, and it's easy.
Thank you. Beauty questions and different questions today. Thank you, guys. Last questions, please, if you have more. My last question will be: so there is a very big problem among entrepreneurs right now. Many people suffer from anxiety and panic attacks and fear and FOMO. Did you have any problems like this at all? And maybe you can give some advice to young entrepreneurs like you, how to beat that and what should they do to feel better and work productively?
Definitely. So the first is like being really fully aware that you're not alone. Everyone goes through that, no matter what they are, if they're an entrepreneur, whether they are anything. It's such a human nature. So you're not alone with that. People just might not communicate about it as much, but you're not alone. I would definitely say it's really about first listening to where is that coming from. So only then can you understand how to combat it and how to address it and how to fix it. So for me, I would say today, most entrepreneurs, most young people, and most anyone would get most of their issues from social media. Unfortunately, most of the good things from social media, a lot of the issues as well. And I think it's really about understanding that yes, social media can be quite draining. You know, you're comparing yourself to everyone's achievements, and you're seeing a lot of, with Instagram stories, for example, you're seeing someone one day in Maldives and other day here, and you're at home feeling a huge FOMO. I think it's about understanding, you're listening to your moods and behaviors, and then realizing social media is a very, very, it's you control it. You can decide what you see and what you don't. We forget that sometimes. So you can unfollow, you can mute, you can block people for a certain period of time if you feel that that content is not helping you. And I think that's what's very important, is about kind of realizing you're not offending anyone, you're just doing what's good for you. But also how to combat that by maybe adding in other content that you need to see to uplift you from that moment. So perhaps if you're feeling very demotivated, let's say you're an entrepreneur, you're working a lot, but you don't go out a lot and work out a lot. So you're getting a bit chubby, bit, down on your side and yourself. This is pretty much how I felt 2 months ago. I started to follow a lot of fitness influencers. I got Strava, I got a Garmin watch, and I started waking up at 6:30 every day and going to an hour and a half in the gym. And then within 1 month, I saw a huge change in my body, felt so much more confident. And I said, you know what, no matter what happened today, I did an hour to myself in the gym. So that was a clear answer of how I needed to follow a few more people that motivated me, or surround myself with friends and family that were doing fitness to get me out of that thing. So I think it's, understanding what you feel is adding to that, being sure it's okay, and understanding that, in a month's time, you'll feel differently. So it's a short-term thing usually. So don't let it get really hard. And then fixing it by either getting rid of content that brings you down or adding more content that brings you up.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I think it's time to wrap up. It was really exciting to have you here at Veda Show today. And we've got a lot of, I've got a lot of interesting information, and I think such a young person that achieved so much in your age is always interesting to talk to younger people that achieved a lot, because as you said, younger people always have different mind already, like younger generations and younger people, they think differently. So it's always a pleasure. However, there is a comment from Lena from Future and Wellness. Akash and Vic, thanks a million for the great interview, and I'm looking forward to welcoming you to the Future of Wellness.
I can't wait to the Future Wellness Conference. One of my favorite things. So thank you, Lena.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you, and I wish you good luck, guys. You go to fableandmain.com, check the products, and buy the damn oil.
The oil.
Thank you. Have a great evening, and I hope to see you in real life someday soon.
I'm sure we will, and thank you so much for having me on your show, and can't wait to see you soon.
Thanks you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Okay, guys, thank you you for your questions. Thank you for being so active. Again, I invite you to join Future of Wellness Conference on the 13th and 14th November. We are going to be talking there with Stuart from Badass Empire. And there will be a lot of great speakers like Deepak Chopra and a lot of other famous names. So please join, go to futureofwellness.online, and check the agenda and join us in November. And of course, I want to remind you that if you have a story to share, if you're a digital nomad remote worker, or you have something to share with digital nomads, go to badasstarms.com and you can share your stories there for free and promote your persona, your projects, and do good to the digital community. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. And don't forget, don't be a dick today. Be a good person and everything's going to be all right. Ciao.